GM everyone, welcome to the second episode of Touch Base. We're touching base again. It has been like quite a week in the base ecosystem. A lot has happened, especially with the whole Zora. I mean, 10xing in I think, I don't know, what, a week. A lot of interesting stuff to cover this week. Uh, Having with me is Yashika and Rajat. How are you guys feeling?
Good man. Yeah, I'm in Vietnam right now. Um,
All right. Yeah, starting off with our usual, some of the metrics of the ecosystem. TVL is at 4.238 billion. It's up not much for the last week or so. It has been pretty stable. And yeah, I mean, with a lot of interest with these new social apps and Zora, I think a lot of inflow is happening and a lot of people are kind of porting over from Solana and bridging to Base. So definitely interesting. Uh, and yeah, let's go over some of the product launches that has happened. And yeah, uh, Factor is now live on Base. Uh, it's a DeFi strategy protocol and basically simplifying your DeFi actions in one click. So that's interesting. Like a lot of DeFi protocols to kind of tap into this large liquidity and distribution of Base, we're seeing more and more of these kind of migrations as we have covered last week as well. So I think this trend will just continue. And the second one is Symphony. I think we have seen this over the last year. AI trading terminals are kind of taking over, and uh, yeah, they have crossed 50 million in volume. And I would like to see like how people are using this. So that's interesting. And this is like the big one, right? I think this just came out today. JP Morgan and Coinbase are now partnering and making buying crypto easier than ever. This is pretty big, you know. I thought like the coins would pump on this news. Someone said that like when
you, yeah, did you
partnership.
see Yano's tweet? Like when you could buy Bitcoin with credit cards back in the day, it pumped to like 20K.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And now there's like nothing burger. Yeah, this is a pretty big deal. People like there's so many crypto credit cards and how they're being used, and some people prefer non KYC stuff, but a lot of people like this so massive interest in just being able to use your crypto in IRL, and this is just another kind of validation of crypto going mainstream. And JP Morgan once used to like shit on crypto a lot, like now they're doing everything to offer their clients. So this is a pretty big deal. We'll see how it kind of plays out. But yeah, next, trade alert, another trade alert. We have a neck from Bankless joining Coinbase listing team. I think like Coinbase has, I mean, I think they've been pretty solid in listing their ecosystem projects and supporting different coins and listening to the community. And I think uh, Nick joining, I don't know what kind of impact it'll have, but yeah, this is part of our trade alert.
I think there are two things that I just want to say on top of this. I think one of the general trends that I'm noticing is like a few years ago, Coinbase's listing team was never public. Like you couldn't even find them on LinkedIn. Like they were really anon in a way. You see the shift in Coinbase's listing team. I would assume this happens because the regulation is a lot better in the states now. You're seeing the listing team be public as well, and this like Shah's announcement sort of proves that. So that's like one change that I've noticed over the last couple of years about Base or like Coinbase in general. I think the second thing that's super interesting is that if Shah's or like Nick's entire mandate is just to focus on, and KG, can you click on his announcement where he says he's going to be working on like Base? His entire mandate apparently is to just focus on talking to base teams and figuring out how they can be listed on Coinbase. So I think the entire, like, you remember when we were talking about this with Hamza and Ishan back in the day, like launching on Base is like a proxy signal for you to be launching on Coinbase one day. I know in the past with some of these stickers, the community has not been happy with, like, virtuals is probably the strongest example of a token that should have been on Coinbase a lot a lot earlier, and then we saw that VVV stuff come up and the community wasn't really happy. Now that we have one guy that's just like focused on listing based assets, I think we'll see a lot more community sentiment get better. So yeah, I think we will start to see this flywheel where I think in the next 1 year we'll see a base launchpad launch a token, like maybe Flaunch. I don't know. Like we'll see Flaunch launch a token, and then you'll see that token get like distributed through noise or something, and then you'll see it on TBA, like the base app a lot, and then you'll end up seeing it on Coinbase. Like that'll become like the Coinbase flywheel for
Yeah,
tickers,
Wait, it has
100%, man. Like, I
already
think,
become like that.
yeah, go ahead,
right?
Ayushi.
Yeah, yeah. KG, I don't think we decided, but there's this tweet by Wagmi Alexander, the Aerodrome founder, Velodrome again. He also said that this is now a flywheel. You launch on Zora, you get on Coinbase, and you're like you get access to so many users directly. And you're tapping into this huge market, and it's like they have a listing team definitely, but now you're already on base with just every post you're making. So they have already made that very simple in a lot of ways. But if you're a team and you want a different approach, probably now that the listing team is being very open, you can also go that route. But uh, they are trying that for lower level normies as well now.
Yeah, 100%. I think with them, like, I mean, they've made this announcement, I think, a few weeks back, where all coins will be listed day one, and with their Coinbase wallet and going live on Aerodrome and stuff like that. So definitely, I think their support has been uh, clearly there. And yeah, there's another tweet by Binance US also caught my eye, where kind of fun banter between both uh, Base and Binance. I mean, this is a US entity, not the bigger Binance. So they're just like, what projects on Base should we be looking at? So with this whole craze going on Base, I think we'll see more and more community-centric projects getting some good support from tier one listings exchanges. So I mean, that's just something to look out for. I know all the good memes that have been listed on Coinbase might be also listed on Binance now. So that's something to look out for. Uh, yeah, another thing that Rachit, I love to get your thoughts, man. Like, what do you think about this tweet from Chain Yoda? Like, the thing that's standing out about Base is the support, outside the Coinbase alumni. Like, they're getting a lot of support. What do you think about this in terms of just projects getting this ecosystem support? And we're seeing like this is like clearly a case, right? Like a lot of new projects that are migrating to Base, and instantly they're getting this spike in volume, users, the distribution effect is happening. What do you think about this?
Yeah, bro. For first thing, like it's mad that you don't follow Chain Yoda. Like, that's kind of crazy. But anyway, I know we have Abhitej on the show later who talks about his comment, and I thought his comment was really interesting, and the conversation we had with him was awesome. But I think in terms of what he's saying, like India and Korea, I think I want to expand that and say like the other base leads, like in Indonesia and Brazil as well. I feel like they're all doing a consistent program where they're actually helping builders to build. I think the ideology shifts where Jesse from day one has always said that there's never going to be a token. So you never attract a builder that's like, oh, can I get a grant? Because that conversation cannot exist because the base ecosystem just doesn't have a token, right? And then you couple it up with like a Soumya Saxena from India who is an Indian founder. Like Abhitej said, that Indians typically struggle with GTM. He is an ex-founder himself who understands the Indian ecosystem. He understands what the Indian builders want. So he's able to cater programs better for them. And then he's able to bridge the gap between like the West and India, where builders like Heath or like TK, like the founder of Noise, he's getting visibility. And it was so awesome to see him in LA during the TBA announcement. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like there have been a couple of times where I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna be a founder on base," but I love Wormhole too much to make that plunge. Um, but yeah,
100%.
man, like, even with like the base fellowship stuff that they do, uh, I've never applied to a cohort, but like this time when Yashika was applying, I was like, I should just do it. I think it'll be a lot. I think it'll be a lot better to hear from like Yashika. Like Yashika, why does the base ecosystem attract you? And like what did the Indian ecosystem in particular do that was like, okay, I want to spend time here. Like I see you do all these live streams and you do all this stuff. Like why? What did the base ecosystem do to attract you? Like what did Soumya do differently from like a super team or XYZ different program?
I think Indian ecosystem again, like we had this discussion the other day as well, that India is a dev first market, so you have a lot of developers, and that is why probably we struggle with the GTM thing as well. And base came in like before it was super team. I definitely agree it was super team, but they took over. Everything is gone, but now you cannot get into super team so easily, and you still want to build, you still want to create something, but make it global. You don't want to be called a jeet everywhere, or you don't want people just to have resistance on your products just because you come from a specific nationality. That is changing with base. Like you see, noise is a really good example of it. But other than that also, I'm kind of optimistic that there will be way more many products that will come out of base. And they have been doing these initiatives called base batches as well. Noise was a first winner of base batches, and other products are also coming out of base Africa, base East Africa. They have like separate Africa entities as well. There's a lot of people who are coming and building, and then they're getting the stage to present it as well. You get the support. I think that changes a lot of things when you're getting support from the ecosystem, top level people who know the product. And when you come to live streams, I think that just happened because I wanted to learn vibe coding, and they were like, okay, come learn vibe coding, be on base, we'll provide you with everything you need. And that itself is a huge deal. Like I get access to people who can tell me when I'm just starting out building a product, what is wrong with it, and like, or what is a problem that can be fixed better, or how can the UX be made better. Just that
Yeah,
mentorship makes you a better builder at the end of the day. And that is what I feel. The accessibility, TLDR accessibility changes a lot of things.
yeah. I think we chatted with Soumya, and one of the things he said was like that I found it interesting is this cohort and all these initiatives are of course to kind of support all the builders, but also to find builders who don't even recognize that they're good builders or good founders, who haven't take that plunge yet. But this kind of initiative helps for them to discover that they have an idea and they can actually do stuff, and this whole team with base is here to support them. So I think those kind of things really help and kind of set the culture at base. I think that's pretty important as well. Like you're not just getting your distribution, you're not just getting the brand name of Coinbase behind you and all that, but you have this diehard team that's always going to be in those groups and helping you connect and support you all the way. So I think that's really important. And I mean, you see this all the time on Twitter as well with Jesse, so that's cool to see. I think Rachit already mentioned that we'll be having Abhitej on. He mentioned he kind of expanded from say to base, and he'll be sharing his experience later on in the show as well. Yeah, next thing, Ishika, why don't you kind of walk us through what is Glamsterdam? I have no idea what it is.
So Glamsterdam is new Ethereum update that's coming up. This post is mainly showcasing again that base is, and like still it's very closely associated with Ethereum and the concept that they have. So base is always aligned to Ethereum. This post is just showing that. And there was another post also which showcased which protocol is paying how much settlement fees to base, to Ethereum. And I think base is also the second highest settlement fees payer thingy on Ethereum. First is Tyco, which I've like rarely heard anyone else mention. But Tyco is the one who's paying the highest settlement fees, and followed by Base. So that is good. That is good to see. Like they actually follow up with numbers with whatever they're saying, that they are very ETH aligned. So
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of technical stuff, technical upgrades are also being happening on base. The flash blocks that we discussed last week, that's going to help real time execution for perp dexes. Like Avantis, they said that like it has night and difference for them in terms of user experience. So yeah, a lot of on the technical stuff also have been happening. Uh, but yeah, the main part of this weekly is our Zora craze that's been happening, and
Yeah.
I just want to show you guys what the chart looks like for a second before we just look at that.
I thought this post by Jacob was genius, by the way. Like I thought it was like a really well put graphic. But yeah, talk about the chart first. I think the chart's
Yeah, man, like just look at this, right? Like they launched, everyone called it shit. Everyone said that this is VC backed scam. It just went down only for so many days, months, and no one believed in content coins. They made fun of Jesse, they made fun of Base, they made fun of Zora, who's gonna content post and buy and sell. Everyone like made fun of it, and then just look at this, right? Like it just fucking 10x in like a week or 10 days. So it just shows that, like you just need the right environment and the right narrative and right push for the thing to take off. Like people are tired of this launch pad, PvP stuff that's happening, and everyone is tired of that, and they're just looking for another outlet to put their money in and make more money. And Zora is like, more cleaner, base is more, I mean, as Rajit puts it, more greener. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I love seeing, even though I don't long term, I'm someone like, I always feel that this is like just another shiny thing, but it just depends on the type of creators it attracts. And I'm just following where the attention is, and right now it's all on Zora and it's all on base. It's also refreshing to see. I mean, what is your experience? I mean, Yashika, you can go first, like with Zora in general, and then we can just talk about some metrics.
I am not someone who trades, like, because I lose money. And I love money too much to lose it. So, no trading because,
bro,
but
KG, I think we need to bring up like Toly's tweet. I thought that was so funny. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, sure.
yeah, and in fact, whatever I've been seeing on the TL as well has been around people saying that this is just a meme coin, and you are not addressing the fact that it's a meme coin. In fact, my friend has also been like, "Why the fuck are we putting so many coins on the blockchain? Do we really need everything to be a coin?" And this seems more scammy than ever. But I agree on that. Everything should not have a value. It just becomes way too apparent that nothing, like most things don't have one. But I feel like if you want to be a creator, and if you're a small creator and you don't have like a huge audience, Zora might be a really good place to start, because growing on YouTube is gonna take a while. Yeah, if you're in the top, you get way more money than you'll be making on Zora anyway. But for small creators or for more regular people, I think it's a very good place to start and just like make money.
Yeah, I
And
think, yeah, I agree. Also, like to start off, like the whole onboarding experience has been pretty sweet. I've tried it over the last week, just trying to buy some of these Zora coins and exploring it. The interface is pretty sweet, and it's like, even though I probably won't spend most of my time there, but it's like uh, discovering other creators and finding
I saw
their.
already you called it like a better version of friend tech. Like, do you still agree
yeah,
with that?
Yeah, I mean, exactly right. This is everyone is making that comparison right now, like social friend tech with $100 billion company backing it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I like the onboarding experience. The one thing though that is like a kind of a controversy right now is when you sign up, you automatically there's a coin created for on you, right? And everyone
yeah,
is kind of uh, you know don't like that, because without you accepting coining yourself, Zora is already doing that for you, and you already have a market cap associated with you. So I think many people don't like that in general. I don't know what they'll do about it, but uh, that's something I've been hearing. Like, you have created a coin out of me already, and like most creators in general on Twitter, they don't like. I mean, that's why no one launched their own coin on Boop and all these platforms, because it's just very hard. But Zora is already doing that for you. Like that's how Jack Butcher, I think, he without knowingly he just joined the
Oh yeah,
platform.
his token went to like 15 million, right? Market cap or
Yeah,
something.
man, something insane. Like, let me just. Uh,
KG, does that mean we have to put your ticker in the in the caption now because you've coined yourself?
Yeah. I
I
did
know,
that
man.
too. I did that too. But beforehand, if you join the platform, like I was like an early user, you did not have a token associated with your name. So you joined the platform, you had your wallets connected, and everything you posted that became a token that had a market value, and then they switched on creator coins. So now every creator also has their own
Yeah,
token, but
100%. Like,
it didn't
here is
start
a
off
tweet
like
like
that.
from Jack saying, "Did not integrate into Zora Coin, but apparently happens automatically when you log into the app," which is a bit mental. Would like to have done something like this more intentionally, but here we are. So I think like that's like the initial backlash. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. People may decide this is the, like, I mean, some people may not like opt out just because of this one reason because they have not been asked. Uh, but yeah, that's just one backlash I found from on Zora this week.
Did
Uh,
you see Mossy's tweet? Vanna Charmers.
yeah, bro, he's. I mean, I love that guy. I think he's hilarious. Uh, yeah, so he says that a big reason why Zora seems so inorganic is that they're trying to build an app for speculation, but sell it as something virtuous when the users they're targeting just want to speculate. I think this is like an interesting conversation, right? Like we have seen this back and forth with Toly and uh, Jesse that these coins are different from meme coins, and
Bro,
Toly said,
Toly said, I don't know, if you click on Jesse's tweet, you might be able to see what Toly actually says. Toly's like, if content coins are so valuable, why don't you convince Coinbase board to buy Zora coins with Coinbase profits? I thought I was taking it a little extreme. Uh, yeah, yeah.
that was so funny, man. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean that's a good like like I don't believe these things are any different. Like I agree with Totally that these things are all meme coins. They're all the same. But what's interesting is uh, the case that Jesse makes is you don't have to sell your supply to make money on Zora because you make a decent amount on fees. The fees are very high on Zora, right? Like compared to other platforms, the fees are high, so the creator makes a decent amount of money. Like I've seen someone make $90,000 in 2 days, just
No,
off
KG,
fees.
okay, let me give you a counterpoint. Do you think if the creator creating the coin is entitled to 0% of the supply and they have to buy their own supply at launch, do you think that would change this thought process of like, okay, the creator is dumping on me?
I don't know, man. Like I think it's all up. Like they can log their stuff, but this whole you don't need to sell your coins to make money is I think good concept. I don't know how long it's sustainable, right? Like uh, initially everyone, like I said, if in the early days someone famous joins, they'll make a ton on fees. But as that attention is gone and like as the speculators are gone, like if I'm early, like if Ansem is joining Zora, right, I'll be the first one to buy, sell it, done, right? And he may probably make some money on fees. But after some time that fees will come down and they have to sell their token, right? So I know how they'll do that, but this was like an interesting conversation. Uh, but yeah, I mean, another thing that I wanted to also get your thoughts on, I think like this whole posts on Zora is, I think it'll get old. Uh, I'm already kind of bored sometimes. I'm only looking for alpha, and I'm not like as an actual user. I think videos would do much better on this kind of platform, more like a Reels, TikTok kind of style, where you just swipe, and you get these videos more. I think they should focus more on the video aspect. I don't know what do you guys think about that.
I'll give you a thesis on this, and I've been talking to Nirav from Camp a lot about this. I call this IP ownership markets. Okay. if you look at traditional like YouTube, on YouTube, you actually have private equity firms that are buying videos from creators, and they're buying like future revenue from that creator. So it's like, okay, we'll give you lump sum, and you give us like all of future revenue comes to us, right? Um, YouTube as a platform is also made for searchability, so you can always reference content back, right? Like I can watch a video that was created 10 years ago by KSI, and the video will always be monetizable because someone or the other might be watching it, and there's a search aspect. So, in my opinion, Zora works in its current form, sure. I don't think it would have worked if it didn't have so much backing. But I feel like a YouTube version of Zora where every video has a coin, future revenue is distributed to token holders. Uh, Ad like people who want to paste ads onto the video, like they can just buy a portion of supply and they can just own ad time on that particular video, and that like the money they've used to buy the supply is then supplied back to other token holders. Like a mechanism like that is something that will work uh, for sustenance. Like that's my personal opinion. I think with Zora, Twitter, Instagram, like the monetization aspect of old content is never going to be sustaining essentially. And then you like with camp, I've been telling Nirav and the team like, hey, this needs to have like a clipping aspect as well. Like, we get clip like shout out clips of crypto. I love you, Atharv. But technically, like another creator like Mr. Beast has said so many times, like, hey, if you clip me out, at least tag me. Um, in that instance where it is an IP, maybe a token holder is the only one that is allowed to clip and distribute that content. So there are other mechanisms and flywheels that you can put into it. I've been talking to Nirav because I know him pretty well. That's like a separate conversation, but that's like the next generation of like content that I would want to see on Zora.
Yeah, I think that's like the next wave. I mean, it depends on the creators they'll onboard and the type of users. But yeah, I mean, going over some metrics, sure, Blockworks they do great, great dashboards. Uh, I think everything is up and to the right. Obviously, like they just had like a record breaking months, weeks. You know, I've seen that like more coins or more posts have been created from Zora than Bonk Fun or like Let's Bonk Fun or Pump. So that's pretty crazy, right? Like more coins. I mean, here coins means posts, so that's pretty interesting. And even the fees, uh, it was more than Pump yesterday, I think, and it's getting closer to Bong Fun as well, which is making I don't know 600K a day, uh, and even the aggregate coin FTV, which is like how much market cap is kind of across creator and content coins, is also kind of up and to the right. I want to see how this sustains a month from now to kind before making like taking any kind of stance on this, because we have seen the same thing with Frentech, right? Like a lot of these platforms, they just go off vertical for a few weeks before coming down. I want to see what happens and what they cook from here, because the stage is set for them, right? Like the stage is set, they have gone viral, all the attention is there, and how they take it from here will be interesting to see.
The only thing I'll say is Zora's post TGE, right? Like all this activity is organic. It's not inorganic in hopes of getting like an airdrop. So I think that's interesting. The other thing is I think the TBA stuff and like the social element on top of it um, is just going to make it parabolic. I think we go higher from here. The other thing I want to say, like I saw Gary V join the TBA app. Like he posted about it. I don't know if he started to post on Zora or not, but we haven't had like a flagship traditional influencer come on and do something on base. I think I think when someone like a Logan Paul comes in and he starts posting, that's the top KG. Like Yeah.
Bro, I just saw that. I don't know if you mentioned this. Mr. Beast invested in Zora.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy, bro. Really?
Mr. Beast. I just saw a clip from yesterday, Thread Guy stream with Zora founders where they say that Mr. Beast invested in Zora in 2022.
Oh yeah.
So, and everyone is speculating now that Mr. Beast will launch his own coin on Zora, which is quite funny. I mean, uh,
That can
yeah, I
happen,
mean, crazy, right?
bro.
Like,
I'll say it here. Like I think when if Mr. Beast launches a coin, that's the top. KG sell everything. Like that's my play. Like I will sell everything. Um,
let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, like the metrics are up and to the right. Right now, like I think the play and what I am doing personally is,
Bro,
uh,
give me some tickers. Like what did you do? What did you buy?
yeah.
Like
So
what
I
happened?
bought, yeah, I bought some Jacob, obviously the founder. I bought some Jack Butcher. I bought some, uh, I don't know, horse ticker. Like I'm
Okay.
just, I don't know if you follow this guy Cooper,
Yeah.
music NFTs GCR. So he's been on base pretty hard and he's been an active in the ecosystem. So I'm just following these guys. You
Okay,
know,
give me your opinion. Like you've been through it all. Like you were a racer bull, and then you became a Pasternak bull, and now you're invested into Jacob. Which one of these three was like the best bull poster? Like generational best bull poster out of the three?
who is the third one?
Pasternak, racer, and Jacob.
Yeah, I think it's 100% Jacob.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. So
I mean, I have Racer has been like he has like the first mover kind of advantage. So it was pretty like everyone
no,
didn't
no, like,
even know.
I'm talking like peaks. In their peak, who is the better bull poster? Like racer,
Probably
Pasternak.
Racer then. Probably
Oh,
Racer.
you think
Because it
so?
was like widely known, everyone was active. Uh, because interesting part about Zora is it's still early for a lot of people, right? Like a lot of creators are not on board, they don't even know what Zora is. But for friend tech, everyone's already in the first couple of weeks, all the big personalities were already using it, all the groups were created, everyone was trading those
I
keys.
remember I bought like Kobe. Um, was it called keys? Yeah, I bought Kobe keys. Like Kobe was on it, Ansem was on it. That's true. Do you have any like from an outsider's like KG? I consider you and me an outsiders in the base ecosystem. Like we've obviously built our trench reputation in the Solana ecosystem. Having viewed all of those other ecosystems, do you have any like advice or like thoughts to like Jacob? Like, hey, please shill my bags this way because you are a bag holder now. So I mean,
Yeah,
maybe make
so we talked about this, you know, off screen, off camera regarding narrative engineering. You know, who do the best narrative engineering and how do they do it? I think like more than the coin you shill or the coin you promote, it's about what kind of narrative you're trying to create, right? Like for Jesse, he's saying these things are not meme coins; they're something bigger, and no one's buying that right now. What can be done more closely is just being real and onboarding people to the platform in a different way. Because right now, I just feel like a lot of what Jacob is doing is focusing on the Farcaster crowd, still on that kind of small crew. I mean, it's rapidly growing, right? Obviously, the metrics speak for themselves. But I think getting more associated with the more high profile power users who can chuck, you know, big clips into these coins, into these market caps. The thing, you know, people don't like to talk about this, but it's very important, right? Like you need someone to pump this shit to the moon, and some of these coins should, content coin, creator coins, whatever, they need to go so high that people just can't stop paying attention, that they have to bridge, right? Like it will be like a cost, opportunity cost if they don't bridge. So that kind of support is kind of some needed. Uh, some of these are already at 20, 50 million market cap. Imagine if some coin of some creator reaches 500 million market cap or 200 million market cap or something insane. That'll attract enough attention outside of crypto where everyone is like, wait, like maybe I don't know, like someone like Aiden Ross or those kind
does
of
it
creators.
does it show what's like the highest market cap coin on Zora right now? Is it horse? I assume it's horse.
It is Jacob, right?
I think it
Jacob.
is Jacob with.
Yeah, it
I
is
think it's
Jacob.
Jacob.
What's its
Uh,
market cap?
I think 90 million or something. Last I checked.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, bro.
On that as well, just a comment like you said KG that you want more people to be on Zora and to bridge to base. While what I have been understanding from reading Jesse's tweets and like I think we referenced to it last week as well, he wants anyone who wants to trade to just be able to trade and not like come to specifically base or bridge to base. If you like Solana, you should be able to trade base assets on Solana. And they want to get a more multi-chain environment for traders itself because they don't want to have that friction that you have to bridge.
I agree. I agree, Jacob. I think every Zora coin should be a wormhole entity asset, and that's. No, I'm joking.
Go
But
ahead.
okay,
Oh shit.
on a more constructive timeline, on like a more constructive feedback loop. I think the Zora team can run the Cooley playbook. I know I've said this a couple of times, but what I want to see is a streamer on Twitch launch a coin, and then I want to see his live reaction as he gets like fees from trades or his market caps going up, and then you clip that shit and you disperse it everywhere. Like anyone can make money on base, right? Like that's the kind of thing that will generate buzz. I agree with you, KG, that a lot of this Zora stuff, a lot of the base stuff is just limited to like a set number of people. I've been asking people in Vietnam, people don't know. Like they don't care, uh, quite frankly. Uh, but they would care if they're seeing live reactions. I think that kind of stuff would be a lot more interesting and maybe something that the team can do. Um,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the play here, I think, is find people you like, and like as someone who who works with creators and is active on Twitter, you kind of get a sense of who's going to pop off, who has high signal to noise ratio. So if you have those kind of people joining the platform, buy them, just hold and forget. Because if Zora is going to keep going up, all these undervalued accounts, they'll just rapidly reprice. And of course, this thing could die in a week and everyone is lose interest and attention is going somewhere
so
else.
one more thing that I'll say, KG, like I think between you and me and people who are very active in exploring other ecosystems, like I'll give you like different instances of when this has happened. Um, Back when Hyperliquid like was getting really popular, I remember you were the first one in the trenches and you just bought every coin, right? Like you bought all the micro caps and you were like, hey, once retail floods in, this is going to pump, right? And right now, what I'm hearing is you aped into Coop, Jacob, um, what was the third one? Horse, right? Like you are the kind of person that comes in, apes everything, and then you hope that retail is coming, and we'll see like
Yeah,
a
that's
broad.
it. That's like the play, right? Like every time something big is happening somewhere, some big
No, no, no.
ecosystem.
So that's what I'm saying. Like there are so many people like you who have not gotten into the Zora ecosystem or the Forecaster ecosystem or not interacted with this. I think the team's next focus should be to attract users like you, uh, who are willing to come on. Like they're happy to spend like $100 aping random shit in hopes that it 5x's or something.
That's
I
it,
think
man. Like the every I always say this: the best marketing is make your users rich, and keep making them money. So right now, people are making money on Zora and buying these coins. As long as that keeps up, I think there always be interest. But yeah, let's kind of see these metrics every week. I think that's like a good thing for us to track every week, along with our other TVL and stuff, to see how many accounts join, trading fees, because Zora is going to be like one of the biggest protocols on base. So yeah, that's our base banter about Zora. The next thing, I think, Rachit, we're gonna shoot more segments with regional stablecoin founders. So I wanted to bring this up. Uh, yeah, Jesse, I think they are kind of very focused on supporting some of the regional stablecoins and help them, get access to a good distribution network. Like, what do you think about this regional stablecoins and uh, yeah, base getting so much involved.
I think it's really interesting. If you look at all the centralized exchanges in different countries, you look at Upbit in Korea, their main pair is not in USD, it's in like the Korean local currency. In India, it's in INR. In Indonesia, it's the rupiah. Every market wants to trade in, like, we talk a lot about this, like inflation is the reason why you want to hold USD stable coins and all this stuff. Like, I think people are just not there yet in terms like thinking in USDs. Like, hey, if I'm in India, I want to save in INR, right? Like, and my parents want to save in INR. So I think what they're doing with, like, Jesse is trying to call for builders to build like local currency stable coins. They're going to probably invest into some sort of forex swap exchange, or they're going to build like, my thesis is that they'll build like a curve pool where all these local currencies are like swappable one to one essentially, and then they'll essentially plug this into Coinbase and be like, okay, we're going to settle everything using this forex swap. They're probably going to, the end goal here should be to beat Western Union at their game and build like a more efficient um, swapping mechanism. I think if you look at the metrics, I think
I've
the
seen like a post the other day where someone was saying that someone was sending cross border payments of $500, and they had to, every time they send $100, the $10 was charged as fees, which is insane, right? Like $10 on $100 transaction. So I think it's very important use case for stable coins that we all always knew. But it'll be interesting to see how the regional stuff will play out. Another thing, like I think, is important is this probably is a better context.
I think one thing, yeah, we can talk about this a little bit, like a little alpha. I've been starting to like, no, it is not official and we haven't really started working on it, but I recently found a team that wants to build an Indian stablecoin, and I got them in touch with like Soumya and the base India team. Like, I don't know if they actually decide to build it, I'll probably be an advisor there. So, yeah, we'll be invested into the regional stablecoin game on base as well.
Yeah, man. Interesting. I think this is pretty cool as well, right? Like Base has 70% market share in foreign exchange volume across blockchains, and Euro USD is the biggest pair. I think a lot of these will develop over the next couple of months, and it'll be interesting to see. And we have with us the Indonesian stablecoin founder and also the Canadian stablecoin founder coming on the show. So that's going to be interesting. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it from my end. Any other thoughts you guys have?
No, I think that's perfect. I think we're still waiting on the Nigerian stablecoin to get back to us. But yeah, following this, you'll have Abhitej's take on his experience with Incubase, like the Build on Base program. You'll have the Indonesian stablecoin founder, Neil. And then we'll also have Kevin from Paytrie, who's building the Canadian stablecoin. Yeah, yeah, sure, go for it.
All good. No.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Awesome. That's it, guys. This is awesome. Super excited for what's happening with Zora, and uh, yeah, please pump my bags. Uh, GM everyone, we're back with our weekly base report, and one of our guests today is Kevin, who's building a Canadian stablecoin, and we're going to talk about why he's building Canadian stablecoin, why base, and what all he's up to. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thanks, KJ. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Why don't we start with a little intro about yourself, what you're building, and yeah, we can get started there.
Yeah, sounds good. I've been building in crypto for about 10 years now. It's been a little while. Started in the TradFi world as at a bank doing the blockchain solution back in 2015. I left, went to work at Consensus, and then back in 2019, 2020, started building a Canadian stablecoin on-off ramp. So this was pretty early in the whole like stablecoin ecosystem. But my team and I have been working on stablecoins for a very long time now.
And is the stablecoin sort of an extension of the on ramp, off ramp? Like, did you know back in the day that you'd built eventually build a stablecoin, or is this like a new sort of addition to the stack? Like, tell us about the process of, I want to build a stablecoin. How did
Oh
you
yeah,
get there?
that's a really good question, and a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is from learnings from what we did in terms of a stablecoin on off ramp, and just understanding the business of a stablecoin and how stablecoins work. So, like 5 years ago, my partner and I we started helping Canadians buy like USDC, USDT, DAI, BUSD, and a bunch of other US dollar stablecoins. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is like, okay, on and off ramping, converting crypto fiat, fiat to crypto, and a lot of forex in between US dollars and Canadian dollar. So we were looking at like different ways to sort of like make our business a bit more efficient and operational. And one like key idea for us was that we need on-chain forex. And if we have on-chain forex, we sort of make our business extremely efficient because we don't have to do off-chain forex that we do with our bank or FX provider. If we can do that on-chain, it'll be significantly more efficient. Funds will move much faster. We'll hopefully get much better rates because of the nature of how things work on-chain. And when we're thinking about that, we're like, okay, what do we need to do on-chain forex? Well, we need stable coins in different currencies first, because right now, or this was back like 4 or 5 years ago, like there weren't many, if any, non-US dollar stable coins. So we started like building out that thesis and really as even today, I think we're like predominantly US dollar based in terms of stable coins. But with the regulations and things changing, I think over the next 2-3 years, you're going to see possibly every currency have its own stablecoin at some point.
Awesome. I think that our next question and focusing on Base. Why did you choose to launch on Base?
So we actually have our Canadian dollar stablecoin on a couple of different chains, like Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, and most recently Base. But Base has been particularly interesting, and we've seen significant growth since launching on Base back in February of this year. So it's been like less than half a year since we've launched, but we've the momentum on Base and the audience, the speed and everything. It has essentially everything we sort of want and need in terms of what a chain needs to do to support large volumes of like stablecoin transfers and like the speed and the support from the base and the Coinbase side has really pushed the narrative in terms of non-US dollar stablecoins forward, and it sort of created a little bit of a market in terms of non-US dollar stablecoins. So I think as sort of that marketplace grows, I think the ecosystem grows with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know you've been talking about how Base, from a technical standpoint, supports it. Do you want to talk a little bit about how the Base team, like I see Jesse tweeting about regional stablecoins all day. What kind of support have you gotten from the Base team? Like what kind of thing, like what's different about building on Base than like other chains that you've built on in the past from a team perspective?
I think they've been the most forward thinking in terms of like FX on chain and non-US dollar stablecoins on chain. They have dedicated people that are focusing on creating like a bigger ecosystem, things that you can do with the stablecoin. And like, obviously FX is one component of it, but looking at lending and borrowing, looking at different ways, different reasons to hold the stablecoin to really give it a more robust ecosystem. And from a support perspective, one of the very first things I mentioned to the Base team is that we gotta have these stablecoins become sort of what I consider like first-class citizens in, like, for example, the Coinbase app. And a few months later, that's exactly what they did as part of their revamp of the Coinbase wallet. So things like that show that they're serious about this, and they want this sort of ecosystem to flourish.
That makes a lot of sense. And do you want to talk a little bit about like the base app? Like I know we want to talk more about like current possibilities. After the launch of the base app, did that change your roadmap a lot? Like, instead of focusing on this because of the base app, we want to focus on this. Like, were there any shifts in priority for the team, or is it like regular business as always?
I think it didn't like significantly change the roadmap. I think we were always hoping that this would be the case at some point. It's like not if but when sort of thing, and like we're sort of like the one of the reasons why we sort of requested something like this is that, hey, we don't own a wallet of our own, like, but we want to be able to recommend something to our users if they want to hold and use cat c. So instead of recommending like MetaMask or like another wallet that might not prioritize stablecoins of different currencies, if Base and like Coinbase wallet sort of like puts it on the same level as like USDC, for example, that significantly changes. It creates a much better user experience for the user, and we're able to sort of recommend this to our users because like they're going to have a good experience, and that's what sort of, I would say, change the roadmap, but like that's something that we could like help promote and offer to our users.
Yeah, 100%. I think like having differently natively enabled stablecoins will make a big difference, like for different regions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like talking about current possibilities, where do you see this particular stablecoin being used, and how will it be being used across even in IRL or in the crypto space?
Yeah. So there's a few things. Primarily right now, people are using it as sort of indirectly on-off ramp, like to and from other tokens and cryptocurrencies, which I think it's like a fantastic use case. Like instead of like we're breaking apart the on and off ramp experience from going from fiat and crypto, from like Canadian dollars and US dollars, and separating the on and off ramp part and the forex part, because before like they were sort of coupled together. You're converting the fiat and the crypto, plus you're doing forex at the same time. But now we're sort of decoupling that is sort of enabling us to provide better pricing for the end user, and their users are starting to take advantage of that because liquidity is starting to form around like the CAD-C and USDC pair, allowing people to sort of get the best price. We're hoping that like liquidity continues to grow, and I think one of the biggest contributing factors of growth is being able to have enough liquidity, maintain consistent pricing that really gives the user like the best price. Like no matter if they're trying to do it on an exchange, a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange. Hopefully, the decentralized exchange should always offer better pricing. We're looking at different sort of avenues to sort of make the stablecoin a little bit more sticky in terms of like, okay, instead of only on and off ramping, you want to sort of hold it, looking at different either lending and borrowing opportunities, yield possibilities, I guess like other forms of like partnerships that allow us to sort of enable users to gradually hold and maybe send, receive, and not ever have to off ramp and like natively use the token and accept it across different venues. So those are all different things that we're looking into, and part of our second half of the year roadmap.
Awesome. Well, like one other thing, like how much of a difference do you think it makes when these pairs are, like these coins are paired with different stable coins? How much of a difference is it? I know that like USDT, USDC, they are the ones, but when these new kind of regional stable coins enter the scene, what kind of difference do you think it makes? Do you think people will put like their region, those kind of people will prefer this over the regular ones?
I think it's so the mindset sort of changes a little bit, like depending on um, the market. It could there could be different appetites for different currencies. Emerging markets might actually prefer U.S. dollar based stablecoin, whereas maybe like a G10 country where you're less sort of susceptible to like currency fluctuation. You actually might want to hold your own, I guess, national currency because you pay your rent in it, you pay your bills, car payments, taxes, whatever. And having that volatility risk might not actually be good for you in terms of like budgeting and planning and everything. So let's just say you have a large, Bitcoin or Ether or Solana position, and you want to sort of like maybe offload that position and just hold either like a currency. Like before, you were forced to essentially hold like USDC unless you wanted to off ramp it. But now it gives you another option in terms of okay, maybe I want to hold my own national currency because I am preparing for maybe a down payment. I don't want that volatility risk in terms of the currency to change my budget and everything. So just giving options to users is always a good thing.
Awesome. I think to our final question, what do you think? Like, we have seen these crypto debit cards, credit cards making like the big scene, big splash in space. Everyone wants to directly use their crypto in real life. And what do you think is like the crossover look like in the future between like fintech and crypto? We have seen neobanks also kind of take over, like kind of coming into the scene. They have been around, but they're kind of making a splash as well. What do you think is like the future look like, and how does regional stablecoins like yourself play a role in it?
My thesis is that every fintech company in the world needs to at least have a stablecoin sort of thesis by the end of this year, or else some kind of stablecoin company will eat their lunch within 2 years, something along that line. Um, they need to adapt, and one way that we're sort of thinking about it is that the Canadian dollar stablecoin isn't really just a stablecoin. We think of it as a domestic payment network as well. So it allows people to send and receive Canadian dollars in real time, 24/7, no limits, instant finality. These are all very unique traits of essentially a payment network that doesn't exist in Canada right now, and not so different from like the U.S. in terms of okay, you have ACH, you have wires, and then you might have like Venmo and Zelle, stuff like that. But there's really nothing in between that allows you to really send funds, like unlimited amounts of funds, so no limits, real time, 24/7, instant finality. Like we can do that with blockchain. We can do that with stable coins, and it actually becomes a very interesting thing in terms of how open banking sort of has enabled countries like the UK and so forth to sort of build these payment rails that don't exist right now in the US and Canada, where we don't really have strong open banking regulation and payment methods. So the way that we sort of think about it is that we sort of skip that whole generation of open banking and just provide a permissionless open protocol that allows anyone to build off of. And I think fintechs really need to think about that over the next probably like 6 months and have a plan around that.
100%. I agree. Like all the fintechs are kind of racing. We have seen Stripe do these major acquisitions. That trend will continue. And yeah, super excited. We're always bullish stablecoin summer, stablecoin year. So thank you so much, Kevin, for coming on. Excited to see what you do next.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, we're back with another segment on the weekly based report. We have today with us Nael, who's building an Indonesian stablecoin. We want to chat about why an Indonesian stablecoin, why is he building on Base, and learn more about the possibilities and more. Welcome to the show, Neil.
Great. How are you guys? Great.
Awesome. Why don't we start with like, why did you get the idea behind starting an Indonesian stablecoin? What's your larger thesis behind it? How do you get started?
Yeah, we were started because we aware that 99.9% of stable coin in the Web3 space was dominated by USD backed stable coin, right? And we do think that we cannot always be relying with USD backed stable coin for a long time uh, due to the our currency sovereignty basically. But um, there will be a lot of capital outflow then if we keep relying on USD backed stablecoin. That was the reason why uh, we we created the Indonesian rupiah backed stablecoin, and that was our first priority basically. The second the second thesis was uh, there's a lot of opportunity basically for Indonesian with the existing case study. So there was a problem for cross-border payment basically for there are a lot of Indonesian that working outside Indonesia that keep sending money on every single week, and that's around 20 up to 30 billion dollar market for the sending money, and they keep sending money with around 4 up to 6% for the fees, only for the fees, right? So we do think that we could solve this by having the a native rupiah backed stablecoin basically. So there's two the main thesis for us to build the rupiah backed stablecoin. Yeah.
Got it. Why base? Why choose build on base for your stablecoin? What attracted you to base? What has been the experience so far?
Yeah. Why base? Because we do think that base is already becoming the best network so far, right? We're not talking about the capability or like the speed, like the the fees and so on, right? Those are those uh, are the are the benefit of every single new network, right? You could you could see the upcoming L1 or L2 out there that could still over about the speed, about the chip and so on, right? But the thing is, there are no protocol that having the completeness of being the protocol basically, right? They do have a good distribution network, right? They do have a great community globally, right? They were preparing the vehicle for every single builder to distribute their product to every single uh, base user basically, and they were not just a new player in this economy, right? They were backed by the largest centralized exchange as well, like Coinbase. So regarding the whole aspect from the business, from the technology, from the community, from the distribution, then I guess there are no blockchain, whether it's layer one or layer two, that already have all these aspects except base basically. And yeah, we got a lot of support from base, right? Even though we haven't got any kind of monetary support, but currently base are supporting us from the resources as well. They're providing Anthony as well to be able to support us specifically for stablecoin area. They do have a great ecosystem, the greatest ecosystem, I guess, because all the ecosystem that they have, they provide it to us, right? If you build on another blockchain, then we might be the one that need to be actively finding or build the ecosystem for the blockchain itself, right? So it's it's very contrast basically. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's great to hear. And like next thing I wanted to chat about is like what are some of the current possibilities with the Indonesian stablecoin? How are people using it? What are some of the things you're seeing adoption wise? And yeah,
Yeah, regarding the possibilities with rupiah-based stablecoin is the fact that the smartphone penetration in Indonesia is almost reached more than 90%, right? With more than like around 280 million people here in Indonesia, almost all of them that already have the smartphone, they already have an exposure with the internet, and the fact that almost almost all the payment was happened through digital payment, which is coming through e-wallet, coming through our QRIS payment QR system by the government. Then I do think by all of this fact, I guess the adoption of the stablecoin could be easier here in Indonesia, even though we know that we still need to dealing with the regulators, having a discussion with them on how we could regulate of this stablecoin, right? But uh, if we could see that this Indonesian rupiah-based stablecoin by default it's already solved a lot of problem. So by default, if you build a product that already could solve a problem, then the adoption will be follow for you. So started from the cross-border payment, started from the you know from the remittance, then we continue with the digital payment on the commerce, for example, right? Then we could see on the adoption of every single settlement that could happen through the stablecoin. So it would it would help us a lot, especially when uh, we could bring rupiah-based stablecoin to the DeFi on the Web3 space. Then 200 people in Indonesia, 200 million people in Indonesia, they would using rupiah-based stablecoin instead. So the rupiah sovereignty will be strengthened day by day, right? Our currency would get stronger day by day, and we wouldn't be rely anymore on USD based stablecoin, especially on the Web3 space on the DeFi, for example, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, 100%. Also, like with the recent base app launch, how do you guys are seeing that in your kind of roadmap, and what do you think is like happening there, and what are your thoughts on base app, and how do you see your stablecoin being integrated in different ways?
Yeah, first of all, Base App was was built initially for the distribution for all the best builder, right? Uh, However, we still need to figuring out on how we could integrate IDRX natively on the Best app, because currently IDRX was already categorized as a cash on the Best app, but Best app still need to have a presence in Indonesia. Why? Because the on ramp and off ramp still, becoming the main challenges for Indonesian to be able to enter the best app or having an asset on best app. Even though through the IDRX they could have an asset on best app, but by enable the instant on ramp and off ramp natively on the best app could be a game changer for all Indonesian. And I do
Yeah,
think I do think base is already uh, started to growing their presence here in Indonesia by having their team here in Indonesia. So in the near future, I guess Base would have something great lah, basically on the best app for Indonesian basically. Yeah.
awesome. And now my final question, like, what's like the future for uh, your particular stablecoin? What are some future plans that you have in mind, at least for 2025 and beyond?
Our future plan was make sure the money here in Indonesia is being on chain for sure, whether it's stable, whether on Bitcoin or Ethereum, for example, right? But at least if you would like to utilize your rupiah, it's better to use on chain. It's interoperable, it's programmable. It helps you a lot to do anything with the device, with all those payment stuff as well. So we do think by having and increasing the adoption of the IDRX, I guess the rupiah sovereignty will be better, right? The the transaction between countries, uh, at least in the corridor of Southeast Asia, for example, it will be using stable going forward, right? Between non USD stablecoin in Southeast Asia like IDRX, MYRC, XSGD, and so on, then I guess it will be a great use case for all of us in the Southeast Asia area to utilize stablecoin in the future. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Neil. Thanks so much for sharing your details, and excited to see what you build on base and what kind of
Yeah.
adoption you see in the near future. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Looking forward, guys. Looking forward, and happy to see you guys that spread the word about the base. Hey, thank you as
100%.
well.
GMGM, welcome to the show, Abhitej.
Jam, thank you so much for the invite.
Always, man. Bit of backstory for all our listeners. Abhitej was building Filament on Say, and he's recently started building something on Base. Abhitej, you want to tell the audience about it?
Yeah, sure. I'm co-founder at Filament along with Pratyaksh. We've been in the space building DeFi products since DeFi summer. And our venture at Filament was to build basically a Bubs product that scales with limited liquidity. That was the idea behind Filament Pro. We had a small setback that led into like cascading effects back in April. And I think so for us, it was very important to not give up, which is like the general sentiment was at the time that eventually we would give up. But we just took a step back. I traded a lot and finally landed up on flashduels. And flashduels is basically an app that allows you to monetize your conviction, which is like how your early beliefs generally don't translate into anything as an upside. Think of like backing an underdog in a sports league or betting a startup when it at its lowest. Think about some a community member was backing Filament when most people written us off. So that's kind of like what it allows. And so yeah, that's our background, what we do.
No, and that's super interesting. I think one thing that would be super awesome for our listeners to understand more, like you guys were obviously deep rooted into the Say ecosystem. What was the thought process behind like building a new product on Base? Like Base particularly, like what I'm pretty sure like as data driven as you are and your team is, like there's got to be some solid thought process behind it. Like, can you tell us as much as you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I used to answer this question a lot about why build on Say, because Say was probably not the most popular choice at the time. I think so, at least as builders, we've always thought about like where would the like particular product we build would shine the most. At the time, I think so for us, building Filament Pro was huge requirement was around time to finality and how fast like the block times were. We needed parallelization as well, so that we could push concurrent orders through. So at the time, the only chain that offered that was Say. They front ran Monad with their implementation of their V2. Um, and so I think so that was the major reason why we chose Say. It was like the whole thought process around Filament Pro as a product was that it did not require composability with other application or what kinds of applications we were building on Say. The key requirement was like think about it like nobody cares like whether Hyperliquid was part of Arbitrum or they were bridging. It's like Arbitrum L1 or Arbitrum Hyper core just focused on Hyperliquid as a product, right? And so that was the thought process. But it was we like I'm a huge fan of what Say is able to do, which is one, they are really good, and I'm very vocal about it. They're really good about two ends of the spectrum, which is they can focus a lot on tech, amazing tech, like they can go very fast. Everything you think about, like everybody has been talking about performant EVMs, they keep on just shipping it very fast and have it live in production rather than, overthinking about optimizations. And over time, those things play out. And the other part is they're really good with capturing the value for their token. What they're generally missing is this glue between, is like attracting really good founders to build on top of it. And I think so that's kind of like they've not really nailed out how do they support founders that are even on their chain. And that is kind of like where we kept on getting this question from VCs, from even users or people we went on to provide liquidity into the product. Why Say? Like, why would I bridge to Say what is there? So this constant question, although we could justify that with respect to Filament Pro as a product, because we could go dive like a layer below and say, hey, these are our requirements. No other chain satisfies as of today, that's live. And then yes, like was convincing at a part. But when we started reiterating and thinking about a product that kind of was more focused towards consumers, that had required much more composability and distribution as a core element of it, there were only two obvious choices. One was Solana, and the other one was Base. And there's a very interesting, I think, so maybe a lot of people who are in my close circle would know this, that I was running around in different chats and asking them not about the product, not about testing a product, one simple question. And it was very upfront, natural question. I want $10 right now. Where can you send it to me? And the most, like, I actually drew up this Excel sheet and shared also in some places. Most common answer was Base. I said, like, if on EVM chains, if you could send one chain, you could send me $10, where it would be. And the answer was Base, and second was Arbitrum. And of course, a lot of people offered to send on Solana. But the key reason for Solana is that's not our core capabilities, not so strong with Rust, and generally like tooling around Solana. So it was obvious choice. If you want to expand further in EVM, this, like, what is the chain? And I wanted to not overcomplicate the process. So I asked this question, put it down on Excel sheet, and then we came to Base. I think so. Building on Base has been a little bit rocky for a lot of people. There have been mixed feelings that Base team doesn't support, although they're like great builders come around. And a lot of teams have ported from Base to Solana eventually. Great examples of that being like Time.Fun and a bunch of other people that were initially building on Base and then ported over to Solana completely. But I think so that's changed massively, at least in our experience. So I can talk a lot more about, but that was the core thesis. We wanted to build an application that was more consumer facing. We wanted to not focus on any metrics, like saying is where we would get the most support, VC support or whatever. Our only objective was where would we get organic users, because we didn't have money, right? So honestly, it's like saying when you're trying to revamp, only thing you think about is very practical terms, where can we get the real users? We have no incentives to give. So
Yeah, 100%. And you put out a tweet yesterday, I think, as a reply to Chainadya. I want to just bring that up. Uh, yeah, like talk me through like your experience, and if you can break it down, how Base actually supports its builders, how they from onboarding to community support. What does it feel like from going from one chain to another, so that others are encouraged to kind of take a look at Base more seriously, for apps that go beyond the social fi scene payments, and there's a lot more that can be done.
yeah, honestly, I think so. I could give a very unbiased opinion about Base because we just came in, and probably the more into the newer process that they have had. Zen has been working around like building country leads and kind of having dedicated programs for each country. But like when we came into base, we were asking around what like how should we leverage building on base? What are some of the ways? And we got a lot of mixed feelings. So like the general feedback we got was Jesse talks a lot on Twitter, but does not, when you reach out to him, he does not support. And this is like a common feeling with most of the base team. My experience, completely different. Now, when we came into base, we were already high on fatigue, no resources, almost like 2 to 3 member team, no time to kind of like experiment around. We're dying with every hour the way we don't ship, right? So it was like, okay, how do we go about and get genuine feedback? And I was talking to Soumya because he's based India lead, and Soumya just like directed me through as, hey, there's this base patches. I would feel like this would be a great starting point for you. I was very reluctant about a hackathon, right? So you participate in the hackathon, and like things don't materialize with a hackathon generally. And then so we were very like towards the end of the hackathon, so there was actually a real process with every like progress report. But then we got like an acceptance into the program, probably like 4 or 5 days later. The program had already started. It we went into the program, and I think so the way the program was designed was exceptional, in terms of where the like hash team, even like the base hashed emergent team and base team were constantly pushing to think about one problem statement, what each team wants to support, like work on it. I think so that is one thing that we honestly took to our heart. And that was saying is, we don't want to think about too many things we want to solve in this incubate program, which is an incubation program for 4 weeks, which for us was only 3 weeks. And we said, we want to nail down product positioning. By this time, we had already iterated on like 4 different products, but nothing was really landing. Like the major gap we had is narrative is not strong enough. Nobody wants to use this. Users can't really like relate with this. And so I just kept on doing one thing, was more calls I got on to, like, I feel like, and this is a very vulnerable side of like coming out, is like I was so low on confidence. I would get on calls and just overcompensating for the exploit we had gone through, why we are here, like why people should believe in us, rather than asking very like targeted questions. But what this program gave us as an opportunity, and base team gave us as an opportunity, was they kept on putting us front of people. And it's like saying is, I'm not like, Rachid would definitely understand this analogy, is like, it's like putting a cricketer who is not on his top form, like think about Virat Kohli, putting him on like field time. You're constantly sending him, right? Even if he's in top form. But if you're a good player, you will at some point pick up gaming instincts, and you will get your form back. I think so for us, this played out. This was like the biggest help base could do, was just constantly put front of like, say, Privy's ecosystem lead, putting out front of like Coinbase Ventures team, putting out in front of like other people like top other operators in the space, who then would give you very targeted questions of saying is, if I want BC, this is what I'm going to ask you. Do you have an answer for it? And this is like kind of like an exchange, right? Of like, okay, this is how you help. And that really helped us improve our product. We were like trying to build binary options for sports to eventually think through the product to come to this monetize your conviction as a product, and like really feel like what users could do. We would put out a very quickly put together prototype. And one feedback that we got in the program was, one of the person said is, who you are showing these products to? And as I like friends in crypto or people around, they're like, most of these people have no interest. Everyone in crypto is tired. Don't show this product to people in crypto. And then I just completely went off the radar of like CT people to ask feedback, and went to my friends who were already like playing sports betting, or Dream 11 in India, or like Bet 365 in US, and started pitching the prototype to them. And that kind of gave us I think so the real J curve we needed in understanding what the product is that lands with people. And I think so that changed for us. And I feel like post this incubate program, I honestly, till the day the results were announced, I didn't even know that we were getting any cash prize. I just felt it's like, there's some of those Kickstarter program. That's the day I realized, there was a 1 million like pool from which the rewards would be given. For a team like us, who's like on an existential crisis, even a small amount of cash was like a big amount, right? So like it was great. But then I think so post program is what I've written is like the methods and practices now base has in place are very solid, and I would categorize in three ways. They have a country lead who is constantly helping you out with understanding, and this is what I put in tweet, right? Who is helping you out, taking you from wherever your state you are to connecting you the right people in the base. And now this, what this country lead can do is filter through the context. And when I say filter through, this context is so important. And like everybody keeps on criticizing as like Indians are great with tech, they're not so great with storytelling, all of this bunch of stuff. But you have to understand the reason why they are. So like Soumya being in India, who has already built startups, is able to
Yeah.
filter this throughout and then give it to base, right? And so and so forth as like for other things. And then comes down to its distribution. Now you have an idea. How do you get it to masses, right? Base app, Parcaster, and plugging you in the right places is a great way. Like honestly, for me, like I reach out to Jesse with so many different things, and Jesse's like, "Hey, like this is great. Like probably could do this way," and he's sharing his insights, and it's very prompt, right? So, like for us, it's been very different, and I think so. The last point is carrying forward these programs. So Incubase is done, right? We have got the capital. We're getting the distribution. Then there is this constant product feedback. Zen is there, and then you are constantly being connected with the other people in base team to say, is okay, how do you take this idea further? How do you now get into your first 50 to 100 users? So Soumya is being now says, I will plug you into Rookie, pitch your product there, get these 50 users, and then hash out every UI UX issue you have. Once this is done, then you would have a much stronger chance of putting it in front of other users and have a higher like a
Yeah.
possibility of a great first impression. So yeah, those are things which I wanted to like put in tweet and yeah, think
Yeah.
about
100%.
like how base is helping.
Yeah, 100%. When we had on Soumya as well, he was going into detail like how important some of these mentorships and base camp and all these are. So kind of refreshing to see that it's all playing out well. You touched upon Farcaster and the whole distribution that base offers. How has it been like for you to tap into that particular part of crypto Twitter and also this base cabal?
Yeah.
uh, how has it been for like onboarding new users and tapping into that part of the audience and this whole new community that's now kind of supporting you?
I feel like it just says like Farcaster is a great way to connect with other founders who might have gone through a certain loops. And those are going to be your first like genuine users and going to give you very like authentic feedback. At least like now when you like noise guys are really good and they're like very solid and then they are very open to supporting other founders that are building, right? Just building, having this Farcaster kind of like allows you to now cut through the noise of CT where people are like randomly sharing opinions on something to saying as, hey, I need help with something. You shoot people up, like they're more prompt to respond on Farcaster or like help, like if you are there. I think so that's like, or people ask us, how do you enter into Cabal, right? It's like saying you need to know where the speakeasy room is. And for like building on base, I think so the speakeasy is Farcaster and now base app, for example. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abhitej. This was awesome and excited to see what you guys do on base. And thank you so much for sharing your experience.
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.